Okay, let's get into it. We're doing a deep dive today into a really potent few verses from the Bible, specifically Psalms 123.
Hmm.
The goal here is really to unpack the key ideas, the imagery, because it paints this, well, pretty stark picture of looking for help when you're really up against it.
It really does. And what jumps out right away is where that search starts. It doesn't begin with, listing all the problems.
Right.
The first verse is just direct. I lift up my eyes to you whose throne is in heaven. So, bam, the gaze is immediately set upwards towards God.
A very intentional direction.
Yeah.
Like turning away from just looking around at the mess.
Exactly.
But then, okay, verse 2, this is where the imagery gets, well, it gets pretty intense and maybe a bit uncomfortable.
Huh.
It brings in this core analogy. As the eyes of slaves look to the hand of their master, as the eyes of a maid look to the hand of her mistress,
Yeah.
so our eyes look to the Lord our God till he shows us his mercy. I mean, why that specific comparison? Slaves and masters.
Well, it's incredibly powerful in conveying total dependence, isn't it? Think about what that actually looks like.
Right.
A servant watching their master's hand. They're not just daydreaming. They are watching for a signal, maybe for food, for instruction.
Or just release.
Or relief, exactly. It's an intense look, it's expectant, and it's totally focused on the one with the authority, the one who can provide. And the psalm links it right there, looking until mercy is shown.
So the looking itself is an act of waiting for mercy.
Precisely. The whole posture is about needing and anticipating that specific divine help.
And it becomes clear pretty quick why that mercy is so desperately needed. There's real suffering here. Verse 3 is just blunt about it.
It is.
Have mercy on us, O Lord, have mercy on us, for we have endured much contempt. That phrase, much contempt, it lands heavily.
It really does. And notice the repetition, have mercy, have mercy. It underlines just how bad things are.
Yeah.
And then verse 4 tells us exactly where this contempt is coming from. It's not vague.
Right, it names names almost.
Yeah, sort of, yeah. We have endured much ridicule from the proud, much contempt from the arrogant. It points the finger directly at people, the proud, the arrogant, as the source of the pain.
And contempt shows up again, doubling down on that feeling of being looked down on, scorned.
Exactly. It's not just hardship. It's hardship caused by people's pride and scorn.
So that connects everything then. This image of the eyes waiting, looking up so intently for mercy. It's happening because of this experience.
Yes.
Being ridiculed, being dismissed by proud and arrogant people. The plea for God's mercy is a direct response to human contempt. It sets up this stark contrast, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. You have this humble gaze looking up for help versus the arrogant gaze looking down in scorn. The human dynamic is the catalyst for the turn towards the divine.
The suffering is real, and its source is identified squarely as human pride. That's what drives this intense focus on God's mercy.
Captured in that really vivid image of the servant's eyes on the master's hand, waiting.
So, okay, bringing this to us, to you listening,
Yeah.
how does this resonate today? Think about those times maybe you've felt dismissed or scorned or judged, especially by people who seem, full of themselves, arrogant. Where do your eyes go in those moments? What are you looking for?
Yeah, where do you turn?
This psalm offers a very specific answer, maybe a challenging one about leaning into a kind of profound dependence.
It really touches on that basic human tension, our vulnerability when we need help, especially when facing scorn, versus that temptation towards self-sufficient pride.
That sums it up well. So as we wrap up, maybe reflect on those dynamics described here, the dependent versus the arrogant, the suffering versus the scornful. What does it actually mean for you to lift your eyes when you're dealing with contempt in your own life? Something to think about.